Alright guys, what's up? Welcome to a new show that I just made. This is going to be basically my college football preview for 2021 college football season. So I like to watch college football a lot, okay? I watch a lot of college football. Literally, I watched the FCS National Championship. I've watched D2, I watched D3. It doesn't really matter. If it's college football, I'm going to try to watch it probably. So this new show is basically going to be my preview for the 2021 college football season. I'm mainly going to focus on the American Conference because that's the conference that my favorite team is in. So if you have a problem with it, then, leave it down in the comments. But that only leave it in the comments if you're a subscriber. And only be a subscriber if you're going to like this video. So the sequence is like, subscribe, then comment, and then after you comment, you can ring that bell down there, okay? So let's go ahead and get that out the way. This week, I'm gonna focus on the one team that really, I think, kind of surprised some people last year, but, if you watch the conference, you know that they've been a solid team, and it was just a matter of time before they really showed what they really were, okay? So the team I'm gonna cover this week is going to be the Cincinnati Bearcats. I'm gonna basically go through each game of each week of their season, tell you if I predict they're gonna win, predict they're gonna lose, maybe some key factors that are gonna be based on last year's team and last year's opponents, just to see kind of, because that's really all we have. I haven't watched any spring practice or any spring games or anything like that, so that's basically what we're gonna have. I hope you like this little red light. This red light is basically for the Cincinnati part because it is Cincinnati and their colors are red and black. So I'm black and that's red. I'm gonna try to change the color up for every single team actually. So be on the lookout. You'll be able to know roughly what team it is by the color. All right. So basically they're gonna open up the season at home against Miami of Ohio. Miami of Ohio was not a strong team last year. I don't expect them to be a strong team this year. This is one of those cakewalk games that the American Conference seems to be able to get from MAC schools and stuff like that. So, Miami of Ohio, Toledo's, Western Michigan's, if they're on an American Conference schedule, is basically going to be a cakewalk. So, sorry for all my MACtion folk. I love watching Wednesday, Thursday, Friday night football, college football games in the MAC, but Miami of Ohio just isn't competition to Cincinnati. I think it is nice that they're playing an in-state school to open it up. I'm not sure. I don't think they have a rivalry. I haven't really looked that up, but if they do have any kind of rivalry, then this is a nice rekindling. But it's just a bad time because Miami's not going to be strong. But yeah, so Cincinnati starts off 1-0. Next, Cincinnati plays host to Murray State. Murray State is FCS. I'm pretty sure they're in the Ohio Valley Conference, I think. OVC, pretty sure. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. But, yeah, so they're going to play Murray State at home. Again, this is another cakewalk game. I honestly don't like that Cincinnati has these two games on their schedule to open up, but it is a better way to open up than to start off with someone strong. Get some confidence behind your team. They don't really have a young team from what I can tell based on the roster, but they have a lot of senior leadership coming back, so it really shouldn't be that big of a deal. They shouldn't need these easy games at the beginning of the season, but schedules are worked out years in advance, so they get to open up with an easy record of 2-0 for Cincinnati. Week 3, they travel to Indiana. So this Indiana team this year has high expectations. Last year, they did really well. They did really well in the Big Ten. I think that they could repeat and have another really good season in the Big Ten. I think that they could probably compete with Ohio State. I think Ohio State has a real chip on their shoulder, but I think Indiana just is going to be a much stronger team than they were last year just based off the strength of last year. But I think that Cincinnati is not going to be prepared. Playing two pretty easy games to begin with. I don't think that's going to play well into their cards to face a team like Indiana that's going to be fired up, a Big Ten team, and it's going to be their first away game. I think Cincinnati actually drops this one. So I think Cincinnati's going to start off 2-1 with this loss to Indiana. Week 4, Cincinnati actually has a bye. So, they play a really strong team. They have a bye. But then that next week, they have another really strong team. So, I think this bye is very well placed in the schedule. I think that they could afford to have it a little later as well, though. I think that this next game that they have in week 5 against Notre Dame, at Notre Dame, it's already scheduled to be a midday game. It's going to be a doozy, okay? I think Cincinnati is going to get hit really hard. And I think that Cincinnati might not be prepared even after a bye week. I know that sounds strange, but I think that Luke Fickell's going to really be trying to get his team balanced, and he's going to probably try some new things with the roster and the starters in the week 5 after the loss to Indiana, trying to find solutions. And I don't think it's going to work for him against Notre Dame. I think Notre Dame is going to be strong this year. I think Notre Dame is going to compete with Clemson again, just like they did last year. I really don't like Coach Brian Kelly that much, just because it's very up and down. And I get it, it's Notre Dame, but it's just so inconsistent in Notre Dame. But I do think that they're going to pull it off this year and beat Cincinnati. But that's not the end of Cincinnati season. They're going to start off 2-2 with the non-conference. But after that, the conference schedule is going to begin. And this is where the fun really starts. So week 5 is going to roll around, and Cincinnati is going to have a short week. They're going to have to play on Friday night as they host Temple. And I think that this Temple team is going to be decent, really, really decent. But I just don't see in their quarterback game and their offensive game, I don't see them being a great team this year. So I actually have Cincinnati winning this game, even though they are coming off of a short week. But Temple's a feisty team. They always are a feisty team. But I don't think they're going to pull it off against Cincinnati this year. So Temple's going to lose this game. Cincinnati's going to win it. And that's going to put Cincinnati at 1-0 in conference and then at 3-2 overall. This is kind of where a lot of teams kind of feel their way through the season. About week 5, week 6, when they're on the edge of what they feel like is bowl eligibility already, because you don't have to win 6 to be bowl eligible. So I think that Cincinnati is going to kind of feel a little confident going into this next week, and then but they actually have an extra day technically because of the loss of a day against Temple. All right, and then we get to week 6. So Cincinnati's going to have an extra day to start off week 6, and I think they won't need it. I think they would actually rather have it for week 7. But they're going to have an extra day to prepare for UCF. I don't think UCF is going to be that good this year. I think UCF is going to rebuild very strong. If they're going to tank this year, just because they're going to be so focused on Gus Malzahn getting his new offense put in and really working his system, okay? So I think that UCF is going to have a down year, but I think it's going to pay off in the long term. But with that said, it's going to be a simple, easy Cincinnati win, and Cincinnati's going to go on to be 4-2 at this point, okay? So they're 4-2. They only need 2 more games to be bowl eligible. I think this is very important because the rest of their season is not that difficult. Not that difficult at all. But their next game, week 7, is difficult, okay? Don't ever try to count out Navy. Any conference game, Navy can be in it, okay? So I think this game actually is going to play to Navy's hand. I think that with Navy being at home, I just feel like this game is going to be a game where Navy can really, really just bleed the clock out, run the ball, play their game, and their defense is going to be able to stop Cincinnati 2 or 3 more times than what they need to, and just Cincinnati's not going to be able to catch up. I can foresee lots of going forward on 4th down. Lots of going forward on 4th down. I think that Cincinnati is going to go for it 2 or 3 times on 4th down in the 3rd and 4th quarters. And I think Navy's going to just do what they do, okay? They're just going to do what they do. If they are within 40 yards of scoring, probably going to go for it on 4th down. So that puts Navy at 4-3 overall, 2-1 in conference. Now, Navy's always in the picture, but they are never able to go over the hump to be in the conference championship game. So I think this win can give Navy some confidence, but we'll talk about them later on in the season for this show. We'll have to see later on, because I haven't looked at their schedule like that, but we'll have to see later on. Cincinnati is going to be poised to, again, go to the conference championship, but they're going to have to win. They're going to have to lock it in and win these next couple games. And these next 2 games might not be that big of a challenge this year. So next we have Tulane. Tulane's offense can click, okay? It can click, okay? So I'm not going to put anything past Tulane this year. I think that their coach is really good. I think that their team and their offense was really good last year. But I do think that Tulane is going to have a not-so-stellar defense this year. And that not-so-stellar defense is what's going to cause them this game at home. I think Tulane is going to end up losing this game at home to Cincinnati, allowing Cincinnati to go 5-3 and 3-1 in conference. Week 9, Cincinnati's homecoming. They play Tulsa for homecoming. Tulsa's going to come in strong. I think Tulsa's going to be a reflection of their year last year, and they're just going to be strong. I don't think Tulsa's going to have the record to show how strong they are, just like they didn't have the record this year. But I think Tulsa's going to be strong. At the same time, I'm looking at Cincinnati as if they're going to be maybe a top 10 group of 5 school this year. But honestly, maybe even just a top 5 group of 5 school. So if they're going to be a top 5 group of 5 school, they have got to win this game. And so that's what I have them doing. I have them winning against Tulsa at home. I think that's just kind of an easy pick. I think that doesn't really take much work to do that pick, just because Tulsa has not proven, without the help of the referees, that they can really win games that are close. And I think Cincinnati is just going to be outside of Tulsa's league, to be completely honest with you. I think Cincinnati is just going to be that much better. And then we have week 10, and this is when Cincinnati goes down south. They go to Florida, Tampa, Florida at that, and they play the University of South Florida Bulls. South Florida has had their peak, and I don't think they're going to get back there anytime soon. So easy win for Cincinnati. Not going to say much else. It's going to be humid. Cincinnati's going to have some cramping issues. All the things that happen in the late October, early November games when a northern team goes down to Florida and Florida's still warm. But with that said, Cincinnati's going to win. So just to update you, this puts Cincinnati at 7-3 overall, and this puts them at 5-1 in conference. And then they play SMU. This SMU team this year probably will be one of the better SMU teams that we're going to see for the next few years. I think they're going to have to rebuild after this year, but I think that they're going to be a really good team this year. And I think that they're going to be one of those teams that tries to take the spot from Memphis. I mean, Houston, I don't think Houston's going to be that good this year, honestly. So I think that this is going to be the year that SMU tries to take away the steam from Memphis and tries to win the AAC West. With that said, they won't beat this team from the AAC East. Okay, Cincinnati's going to win this game, and they're going to win it, you know, probably by the skin of their teeth. But this game is going to be the game that kind of defines what bowl game Cincinnati makes it into, I believe. So the last week of the season, they come to Greenville, North Carolina, to play the East Carolina Pirates. Okay, I think the Pirates are going to have a really, really good year this year. I think they're going to really finally show what they could have done what they could have done last year. They couldn't have done this 2 years ago. I don't think that the team was together enough. I don't think that the team was strong enough 2 years ago. But I think that this year, ECU is going to have a pretty good team. With that said, I do not think that they can overcome the Cincinnati woes. I think Cincinnati is going to have their card again. I don't know what it is about Cincinnati. Even when Cincinnati isn't good, they perform well against ECU. So I just think this is just another case of ECU being prepared, but things just not going their way, and Cincinnati wins. With this puts Cincinnati at 9-3 overall, 7-1 in conference to end the season. This 9-3 record will not get them into a New Year's Six game. This 9-3 record will not be something to really write home about, but I think that the 7-1 in conference is going to be a great tool that they're going to use to possibly go to the conference championship. But we'll see with the other teams and what I predict the rest of the schedules to be like. So this has been Cincinnati's 2021 schedule preview done by myself, Knowledgeable Soul. You know, follow me on Instagram. You know, I got this idea from an Instagram poll of things that I should talk about. And so I like to do Instagram polls. I like to be inclusive of everybody who likes to watch my stuff. It's not many of you right now, but one day it might be a lot. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, make sure you follow me on Instagram, Knowledgeable Soul. And make sure that you subscribe and you watch these videos. Again, like I said, if you're going to subscribe, you have to like this video first to let me know that you're going to subscribe, okay? Because if you don't, I won't know that you subscribe. So like the video, then subscribe. And then if you have something to say, you can comment, but only after you subscribe. I don't listen to commenters who are not subscribed. Subscribe first, then comment, okay? and then you're in the club. Okay, that's all it takes. You're in the club. Okay, so this has been my Cincinnati 2021 preview. I know it's really, really early, but I don't have a lot of time, and I'm trying to get through every single team, and then I have extra teams that I want to try to do. So I'm just trying to work this in. So it is early, but a lot can change. Hey, if it changes, it changes. This is as of today. As of today, it is May the 18th today. So things can change before August. But until August, this is my word.